This was my second flight on my tiny whoop, and there's the whoop right there stuck on my hair. It took 30 minutes to get that thing unstuck. But let me tell you, these things are so fun to fly. Hello everyone and welcome back to Not So Scale. In this video, I'll be taking a look at this. This is a tiny whoop, specifically the Mobile 7 by Happy Model, and this is a 75mm Bind and Fly tiny whoop. So I've been flying this thing for the past 2 months, and you can rip this thing almost anywhere. So in this video, I'll just be talking about my experience flying this thing and some tips and tricks that I picked up along the way. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. Let's start off with a quick unboxing. In the box, you get your accessories, so spare props, screwdriver, prop removal tool, and an extra jumper for the charging board. You have our stickers, and we have our series charging board. So this thing actually has ports for a BT 2.0 connector, which I will solder on. We got the spare canopy and the whoop right here. One of the greatest benefits of flying tiny whoops is that you can fly them pretty much anywhere. This was the main reason why I got one, since I don't have a huge space to fly my quads in. These whoops basically weigh nothing and are small enough that they don't do any damage. Just don't fly them straight to your head. With Express LRS and the 400mW VTX that this Mobile 7 comes with, I don't have any problems with range. I mainly fly this around our house and I get decent reception with some slight static when going behind concrete walls, but that's to be expected. From flying a 3.5-inch quad, I was pleasantly surprised with how this thing handled. Now it definitely has less power than the larger quads, but in the types of environments you fly these things in, like indoors and tight spaces, you don't really feel a lack of power. In fact, it's even a bit too powerful indoors, but with enough practice you can rip this thing indoors with no problem. Where the 75mm really shines is in small outdoor spaces. It has enough power to do freestyle outdoors, and it can handle a light breeze, but it does get blown around with stronger winds. I've been enjoying just ripping this thing around our house, practicing power loops, doing some dives, and hitting small gaps. They say that the only way to improve your flying is through stick time. I'm flying this thing for several times a week for the past 2 months. I can say that I've improved my skills quite a bit. With this thing, I'm not as scared to crash as much because it's quite durable, and this has pushed me to challenge myself with more difficult tricks. This doesn't necessarily mean you don't break stuff though. With enough hard crashes, you can easily damage your props, motors, and bend your frame, so it's a good idea to stock up on spare parts. One of the first recommended modifications for tiny whoops is to use a BT 2.0 connector for the battery lead, as it gives better performance and flight times. So I got some BT 2.0 connectors and replaced the stock PH 2.0 connectors on the tiny whoop. The charging board it comes with actually has some slots for a BT 2.0 connector, so I soldered some on so I can still use this board for charging my batteries. Another thing people like to do with their tiny whoops is to flash BlueJay, the ESC firmware. I actually have that on my 3.5-inch back there, and I mainly did that because of the cool custom startup sounds that you can do. But flashing BlueJay actually also gives you more flight times, and with these whoops, that's pretty nice to have. And once I flashed the BlueJay, I did get more increased flight time. From the 4 minutes and 30 seconds flight time I was getting with the stock BL LES firmware, with BlueJay I was getting 5 minutes to a bit over 5 minutes of flight times, and that was nice. But I actually ended up going back to BL LES on this thing. When you flash to BlueJay, they actually tell you to increase your min-max startup power, and I've already cranked it up to the max, but even with those settings, when I armed this thing, some of the motors still had trouble turning. So I went back to BL LES and that problem was gone. In the 2 months of flying this thing, I've already had to replace 2 motors. One motor got damaged from crashing and the other one broke from replacing a prop. Seriously, getting the props off can be a big pain in the ass. One of the props was on so tight that when I got it off, the motor shaft got loose. The prop removal tool they give you is pretty much useless. I found that using a screwdriver to pry the props off works well, but be careful cause that's how I broke my motor. It's a good thing that the parts for these tiny whoops are not too expensive, so it's not as hard on the pocket to do repairs and replacements. Overall, tiny whoops are an excellent way to get into flying FPV drones. They aren't too expensive, they're durable, and you can fly them almost anywhere. But even coming from larger quads, flying tiny whoops brings you a breath of fresh air. It's a whole new experience trying to rip these small quads indoors or in tight spaces where you wouldn't otherwise want to fly your larger quads in. It opens up a new set of possibilities for flying and creativity in your freestyle. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for leaving all those kind comments on my previous videos and all the likes and subs. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.